Welcome, and thank you for standing by. All participants are in a listen-only mode until the question and answer session of today's call. If you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your touch-tone phone. Today's call is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn the meeting over to Ms. Dua Thor. Thank you. You may begin.
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dua Thor. I'm the Senior Advisor with the White House Initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, and we're excited to have you all join us so that we could talk a little bit about the resources and also about the tools that Grants.gov has. So before we begin, I'm just going to remind people that you have to save your question until the Q&A session. We won't be answering any questions via chat. And also, if you haven't, you should also dial on and also log on to the webinar. In addition, we're going to ask you to fill out an evaluation that we will send to you all afterwards at the end. We would really appreciate your time in filling it out. It helps us make these webinars better and also informs us about how to do other webinars in the future. So first, we'll briefly cover the mission and purpose of the initiative, and then we'll launch into the actual presentation from the Grants.gov team members, and then we'll do a Q&A. So let me take this opportunity to really introduce you to the rest of the presenters first, and then we'll launch into the presentation. First, I want to introduce Linda Fan. She serves as a commissioner on the President's Advisory Commission. Linda is also the Executive Director for Asian Family Support Services out of Austin. She'll provide an outline of the history and mission of the initiative and also discuss our cross-cutting issues. We'll also have Suzanne Luther join us. She's also an advisor with the White House Initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, and she'll talk a little bit about our new Grants and Resources website. And then you'll get an opportunity to also hear from Tricia Glass. She's a program advisor for Grants.gov, and she'll do the actual Grants.gov webinar. And finally, a special thank you to Danny Chow, who's our current intern. He's been communicating with you all and running a lot of the logistical work, so I wanted you to see what his face looks like. So let me actually launch it over to Linda, who will talk to you all a little bit about the initiative and our work.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you're able to join us today. As Dua mentioned, my name is Linda Fan, and I'm one of the newly appointed commissioners to the Commission. And for those of you who don't know about the initiative, we were reinstated on October 14, 2009, when President Barack Obama signed an executive order reestablishing the White House Initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. The initiative is actually housed within the U.S. Department of Education, and it's chaired by U.S. Department of Education Secretary Arne Duncan and led by Executive Director Karen Ahuja. Now, the Asian American Pacific Islander, or what we also like to call the AAPI community, which also includes the Native Hawaiians, is the fastest growing racial group in the country. And our community grew 46% from 2000 to 2010. And we are more than 18 million strong and growing. However, with the rapid growth of the AAPI community in the past decade, there does come an urgent need to address the daily issues and challenges our community faces. AAPIs basically trace their heritage to more than 30 different countries and ethnic groups, and our challenges are pretty much as diverse as the communities we come from. And therefore, the initiative seeks to highlight both the tremendous unmet needs in the AAPI communities as well as the dynamic community assets that we possess and that can be leveraged to meet many of those needs. And so, in summary, our mission is to improve the quality of life for AAPIs by facilitating increased access to and participation in federal programs where our community remains underserved. And so there are a few cross-cutting issues that the initiative is currently working on. And these priority areas reach across all issue areas and agencies, including, for example, advancing research. So there is a major focus right now on data disaggregation, data collection, and pretty much dissemination of this data for Asians and Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. We also want to ensure access, especially linguistic access for APIs. And then as part of our capacity building, this is one of the reasons why we're doing this Grants.gov, to make sure that organizations who are focused on the API community have access to both private and governmental resources. And then the last area is, of course, workforce diversity, to encourage API involvement in the federal workforce. So thank you again for joining us, and I'll pass this back on to Dua.
Thank you, Linda. So one of the main ways that we work to tackle some of these issues is by reaching out to both community members to find out their concerns as well as the federal personnel who can help address their problems. So through our stakeholder meetings, summits, and regional interagency working group roundtables, we've connected with over 30,000 different community leaders and federal officials. As we've held these events, we've seen the need for capacity building, especially in the area of accessing federal grants. And can I just make sure that people can hear? Let me just double check with the moderator to make sure you all can hear, because we're getting one or two messages just saying that you can't hear us.
Yes, this is the operator. I'm on the call with you. This is the operator. Yes, this is the operator. I'm on the call with you.
Hi, can you guys hear? We're getting a couple of web messages saying people can't hear.
Oh. Yeah, I'm listening to the call. I can hear it.
Okay, great. Just double checking.
Yeah, I'll turn up your volume a little.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, it's not your volume. Sure. Oh. All right. Sorry about that. We were double checking just to make sure everyone can hear. So my understanding is that you can hear. If you cannot, make sure you just let the main operator know. She should also be on the line. All right. So in terms of looking at the needs assessments of what we've been able to complete in the last couple of years, we've really heard from the community that there needs to be a lot more information around grants. And so our initiative serves to be a connector and convener linking Asian American and Pacific Islander community-based organizations to federal agencies in targeted ways. And today's webinar is an example of one of those ways that we've identified. Right before we launch into the webinar, I'm going to have Suzanne talk a little bit about our Grants and Resources website. It's a new page that we hope will also meet some of these needs and take a look at what organizations are needing in terms of resources and grants from the federal government.
All right, so thanks, Dua. So as Dua just mentioned, we devoted part of our website to providing assistance to organizations, and the URL for this portion of our pages is at the bottom of the slide, www.ed.gov/edblog/AAPI/grants-and-resources. And we'll be sending that out to all of you after the call because I know that's a long URL to remember. But these pages are dedicated to providing tools and resources to help inform AAPI community-based organizations such as yours about federal opportunities. And we really want it to serve as a hub of current grant and technical assistance information from federal agencies. And these pages are divided into three main sections, which are grants, training, and resources. So the grants page offers tools to help organizations navigate Grants.gov as well as the grant application process. And under the training section, we're sharing learning opportunities offered by federal agencies to help your organizations obtain and use their resources. And then finally, the resources page provides federal tools to help organizations with everything from recruiting volunteers to just managing a nonprofit. And so, we've combed through a lot of federal resources, but the website isn't meant to be completely exhaustive, and it won't have every opportunity from the federal government listed, but we're really trying to share information that AAPI organizations and communities will find of interest. Aligned with the President's State of the Union message of expanding opportunities, the initiative's goal is to expand opportunities for AAPIs. So we're trying to offer these tools and this guidance for AAPI communities to actively pursue federal opportunities, so in order to improve the lives of our community overall. So obviously examples of these opportunities include access to current grants, notices about new grants, grant reviewer opportunities, federal contracts, and this webinar about Grants.gov. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Tricia Glass from Grants.gov to start with her presentation. Thanks, Tricia.
Thank you, Suzanne. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to basically give you an overview from beginning to end about the Grants.gov website. So it's pretty much everything you want to know, the ins and outs of our Grants.gov website. So let's go ahead and get started. It's through the eyes of the applicants. The big areas that we'll be focused on are the register, find, and apply. Getting registered is one of the biggest components before coming to our website, actually. It's the longest, probably most time-intensive piece to everything. So when you come to our website, it looks exactly like this. You have two options you will see under the Register tab at the right-hand corner. You can come in as an organization or an individual. Most people come in as an organization. We have few people that come in as an individual, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to go through the organization registration because that more pertains to you guys. So before even coming to our website, you have to go to a couple other websites to get registered. The very first one that you will need to go to is the Dun & Bradstreet's website. You'll have to go there and register. You'll have to give your TIN, EIN some people call it. It's basically your IRS information. At that point, you'll be issued a DUNS number. If everything's, clear, concise, what you're providing as the information needed on this website, it can take up to 3 to 5 business days. If it's not, or they have some questions, or there's error in submission to the website, it can potentially take longer. Once that all is done and nicely, wrapped up, you're going to go over to sam.gov, and basically you will give your DUNS number there to register in the SAM website. At that point, once that's done, you'll also establish an eBiz POC. That's the individual that is the point person for your organization. And you also will have to get an MPIN number, and that'll be your identification number for your organization. This process can also take up to 3 to 5 business days with, let me say again, that if everything's fine, it takes typically that amount of time. If there's questions, if there's error in any information, it can take longer. So as you can see, the registration process can be time and labor intensive. We tell people, it can take up to a month to get registered if information is not provided accurately. So if you have an opportunity that's closing within a month, you can see that there may be some problems if you don't get all this information done in a time-fast manner. Once you're done with SAM and you get everything registered there and organized, you'll come to our website, and everything will be merged over from Dun & Bradstreet and SAM to Grants.gov. You'll set up the account in Grants.gov, and let me just say that the eBiz point of contact yearly has to go into SAM to update your information. If you do not update the information in SAM, then you will not be able to apply on Grants.gov. So you get a lot of email reminders. They'll start like 60, 90, 180 days out. So you get plenty of notification to do that. Once that's done, you'll come into our system. Your eBiz POC has already been identified. That individual then can go ahead and set up authorized representatives for your organizations, or AORs as we call them. And your organizations can have as many as you want. They just have to be authorized through the eBiz POC. The AORs are the individuals that go in and submit the applications in Grants.gov. So you can see if you don't get that approval from your eBiz point of contact, you won't be able to submit for any opportunities. So you want to make sure that that's been done. So when you're registering as an applicant, this is a screen that will pop up. We always want you to pay attention to the DUNS number area, because if you transcribe or if you put in an inaccurate number, that's affiliating you with the wrong DUNS number, which inadvertently is the wrong organization. So you'll be submitting under another organization. So just always make sure you're filling in that area very succinct and very concise, because you don't want to have to go through and, call our help desk and get that whole situation figured out, because it is a little timely process. This is what you'll see. It'll confirm all your information when you're registering on our website. You have your secret question and answer there, your username, all that will be right there for you. So basically, the AOR authorization by your eBiz POC, they will authorize it. They send you an email notifying your registration. You're confirmed. You're good to go. You're able to submit for applications on our system. You can track your AOR status anytime in our system. You just need to log in with your username and password, and you can see, confirmation, or if it's still waiting for your eBiz POC to confirm and authorize. So how do you navigate our system? That's the next phase. This is what you'll see when you come to our website. It gives you the latest and greatest information on our homepage. There's 2 areas for you to go in and search for grants, and the tab at the top is specifically for applicants. You have everything under the sun at your hands and fingertips to find what you need. There's FAQs there, there's resource guides, there are applicant tips, all kinds of good stuff for you to look and review. So your applicant resource includes your FAQs, the user guides, the checklist, like I was saying earlier. We also have self-help portal, our our help desk is available 24/7 as well. You can also manage subscriptions in our website. There's multiple ways to keep with the know with Grants.gov. We have an RSS feed, we have a blog. You also can subscribe to, if you want to do all of HHS, opportunities, you can subscribe to a particular agency. You can also subscribe to a different bureau, things of that nature. So how do you search for opportunities? A couple of different ways you can do that. Like I said, when you come to our website, you'll see the newest opportunities. They break it by category, agencies, eligibilities, things of that nature. You can just go ahead on the top navigation and click Search Grants, or at the very top on the right side, you can put in CFDA number, you can put in special words, things of that nature for you to search as well. And basically that's just saying what I said. You can look at the newest opportunities, browse by category, health, environment, housing, browse by agency, eligibility type. So whatever you're trying to find, it will come up under these multiple ways as well. So this is our search engine basically, and if you have used our system previously, we've improved it greatly. It's basically to the point where it can drill down to the minutest information that you need. If it comes up the first search, that there's 35, you can start clicking on the left side to drill down to, 2 or 3 opportunities that's very specific for what you're looking for. You can refine your search if you know the funding agency or the eligibility or category, date ranges. All that, is at your disposal to drill it down to specifically what you're looking for. And that's just basically reiterating what I'm just saying. So what's in a funding opportunity, you're probably asking? This is the Synopsis page. It basically gives you all the high-level important details of a funding opportunity. It will give you the opportunity number, the close and open date, the funding amount, number of awards, and the program contact information. For any question that you have regarding an opportunity, if it's specific to the program, you always want to contact that program individual. If you contact our help desk, they really can't tell you about the program. We're here to help you navigate the system and get through with the application. So any pragmatic questions, you need to contact that individual. So it's handy to keep that information at close disposal. From there, you'll go to version history. If there's mods, if there's updates, anything, it will show you right here. And, it'll tell you what modification was done. So you'll want to make sure you view and download the most current one. Your full announcement, you can retrieve the full funding opportunity, the announcement, any supplemental documents, that will be in that tab right there. And the last one is the application package tab. This is where you will go to download the entire package. It will have the instructions, everything there for you to download. The biggest thing here is a lot of our customers come in and they do not have the correct Adobe Reader. Please make sure that you do, because you won't be able to have the functionality to fill out the applications or potentially even download it. We do have a mechanism on there under the Applicant tab where you can scan your own computer system to see if you do have the correct one. So from here, you download the application, you enter in your email address if you would like to be notified of any funding changes to a particular opportunity. So basically what this is, we don't say that you have to do it, but it is highly recommended, because previously when I showed you that version history, if there's any modification to the opportunity, and it does include that you have to re-download the application package, this mechanism does notify you of that. So if there was something that they added to the attachment section or something they added to the entire package altogether, you will be notified that you have to go back in and re-download to be able to submit. So with this, you just want to right-click, download the application instructions. You can save it to your personal computer and then repeat for the entire application package. So navigating the application package is the next phase. Here is basically what you will see. You'll have your PDF file composed of all these documents. Again, it can be saved to your personal computer. It basically shows you all the mandatory documents and the optional documents. Here it would also tell you, the closing date again, the agency contact, and forms to be filled out. So like I said, that's all the mandatory documents. You cannot, in any opportunity, withhold submitting mandatory documents. If you don't fill them out appropriately, you can't submit. If you're missing it, you won't be able to submit it. These are the things that are required by a particular agency for each opportunity. The optional documents is to your discretion if you want to download them, but we always tell everybody it behooves you to download them, because it's only strengthening your package and what you're trying to accomplish with the grant funding. So anything in yellow when you're filling something out is a mandatory field. If there's something left in these fields, open and it's supposed to be filled in, you'll get a pop-up message with an error that is not completed. If you don't complete the yellow fields, you will not be able to submit the application package. So submitting your application package is next. When you do this, you'll have some buttons that will be active at the top on the right, print and cancel. You can save. It will check for errors on the entire package. You can print it. Once it's all free of errors, the Save and Submit button will be active and live. Make sure that you're always connected to the internet during this phase. We have a lot of people that realize they're not booted off their internet, and they think that they've submitted, but in actuality it never happened because they weren't connected. So upon Save and Submit, you'll be prompted for your username and password. This basically serves as your electronic signature. Again, like I was previously mentioning, if you are not the authorized AOR by your eBiz POC, you will receive an error message telling you you're not authorized, and you will not be able to submit your application. This is what it looks like basically when you've signed and submitted. It serves again as your electronic signature for your application. You'll receive a confirmation screen with your Grants.gov tracking number. You always want your Grants.gov tracking number, because that is identifying you and your agency. If there's any concerns, any questions, anything that happens with the application, that's how myself and then the contact center will also be able to look in the system for you. There's a time and date stamp that serves as the official submission time. And you also receive emails indicating the status of your application at this point. So you have 3 different types of emails that you potentially can receive at this point. The first one is the receipt of email basically saying your application was received by Grants.gov. And you'll also have the URL in this email verifying receipt. The second one is validation or rejection. Validation basically means that Grants.gov email is verifying your successful submission and it's going right on to the agency. Or the rejection says that unfortunately you've been rejected. It gives you specific error. It tells you with a description of what the error was. If you have left plenty of time, you can go back in, correct it, and then resubmit. So you would have 2 different Grants.gov tracking numbers if this is the case, because you submitted twice. The third is transmission to agency. It's saying that everything was nice and tidy and it was pushed right on to the agency. And then after that point, the agency will be in contact with you. You can always come into our system to track your application. Again, it's with that grant tracking number. So it will show the different statuses like I just discussed with you, the received, validated, rejected, or retrieved by agency. So some tips that we like to give our body for grant proposals: register and submit early. As I said before, if you do not register early, it really prohibits you from getting through all the different systems to apply for an opportunity. The sooner that you register, the better and likability that you will have to apply for opportunity sooner. Thoroughly read all the instructions, follow everything that the program is telling you to do. If there's any questions, again, contact that program individual and they can help you through that. For the program and budget details, be very specific. Give as much detail as you can in those areas because they're the highly reviewed areas. And again, we emphasize filling out the optional form for your application package. For our system, you definitely want to limit your application file size and file names to 50 characters or less. Use the correct DUNS number on the SF424 cover page, and make sure you have the compatible Adobe Reader. One second. So as I said in the beginning, we have a helpline contact center. We are a 24/7 shop, so no matter where you are in the world, you always will have the capability to reach out and ask somebody at our help desk if you're having questions, concerns, or running into problems. That's the contact information. We have, additional resources, like I said, in that applicant tab. We have a training video, we have the FAQs, the user guide. We also have a self-help portal in there as well. And that is everything for the presentation.
Thank you, Tricia. We're going to open it up for question and answer now. And moderator, will you open up the lines?
Yes, thank you. At this time, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your touch-tone phone. You will be announced prior to asking your question. To withdraw your request, press star 2. Once again, that's star 1 for questions. At this time, there are no questions.
Well, thank you to everyone for joining us. Again, if you have any questions, you should feel free to press star 1 now. I want to thank Linda and Tricia and Suzanne for joining us today. We want to let you all know that you can also, we'll also allow for the audio recording and the slides to be posted in the next couple of days, and so you can keep an eye on that part. And also that we will be sending out an evaluation that we hope that you will respond to help us make the webinars better in the future. And then we look forward to seeing many of you at our events and also you in terms of joining our newsletters and also our other webinars to come. And there will be an opportunity on the survey for you to fill out your name and your contact in order to be added to that. So thank you again all for joining us, and have a good evening.
Thank you. That does conclude today's conference. Thank you for your participation, and you may now disconnect.